Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great start to your day. It's another candle review day here on my channel, and I'm really hoping to get 3 candle reviews ready for you today. There will definitely at least be 2. I have some meetings that I have to do for work a little bit later, so we'll see how far I can get into filming today, but I will definitely have at least 2 ready for you. Obviously, we're kicking it off with the Snif Crumb Couture candle in this video, but the second review that you will absolutely see this afternoon will be of one of the new Kringle Fall 2024 Country Candle fragrances. I am definitely getting to a point with a number of those where I feel comfortable giving some in-depth post-burn reviews. The candles will at least be burned a third of the way, if not even a little bit further. So I feel like that's going to give us a pretty accurate representation of how that wick changeover is going with country candles. So if you're not already subscribed and you are interested in more in-depth home fragrance reviews, definitely hit that subscribe button. And yeah, anyway, you guys, let's dive into this Snif Crumb Couture. So first of all, I would just like to say I'm really glad I finally found a use for these cute little cupcake stands that I bought at the Target dollar spot years ago. I think I bought like 5 or 6 of them, and then I was like, what am I going to use these for? So great, we're going to use it as a backdrop here for this video. There are a lot of times where I will be sharing, you know, a candle, and I talk about how amazing the scent is and how much I would love to have that particular fragrance in a perfume format, or I will have a perfume that I'm reviewing and I'll be talking about how amazing it would be to have this particular perfume in a candle format. And obviously here with Snif Crumb Couture, we have access to both. Now, I personally, so I got the perfume first, fell in love. It smells so good. By the way, they're actually an eau de toilette formulation, but I tell you what, they perform more like an eau de parfum than they do an eau de toilette. So don't let that scare you off. These are powerhouse perfumes. I have a few from Snif, and like I said, I think they are just as great as, I would say, the vast majority of my eau de parfum formulations. Anyway, so enjoyed the perfume first and then discovered, oh gosh, there are candles. So there is an 8-ounce version, and then there's this extra large or Luxe size 50-ounce version. So the 50-ounce version is what I went for. That retails for $129. So this is definitely what I would consider some borderline luxury pricing. I know that many of you are probably going to be in the comments saying, nope, absolutely not ever. I'm not spending that much on one candle. Totally get it. Here's the thing, they do have the 8.5 ounce candle that retails for $46. Now, I'm obviously reviewing this from the standpoint of this being a 4-wick 50-ounce candle. So I'm going to assume that the overall strength and throw would be less with the 8.5 ounce version, but this is a potent fragrance, and I think even if you go with a smaller size, it should probably scent a good chunk of your home, because the experience that I'm having with this 4-wick here is like, it's amazing. We'll get to the strength and throw, but so you've got 2 options here. You've got the 50 ounce or the 8.5 ounce, either a $46 price point or a $129 price point. I have not shopped with Snif long enough to know what their sales are. You can certainly do their subscribe and save option here. You know, that'll save you a little bit of money if you want to have this delivered to you on a regular basis. I think when you sign up for their emails, they might give you either 10 or 15% off, so that's an option as well. And do know that I'm going to be putting a link for this down below. This isn't super easy to necessarily find on the Snif website, guys, because this is under their secret menu. So you actually have to look up the secret menu on their website. You can't just, you know, do the little like scroll down and go to Snif Crumb Couture. It's not listed like that on their website, if that makes sense. So anyway, you guys, let's go ahead and dig into a little bit about this wax formulation, since this is a newer brand to me. So they use a premium, high quality, non-toxic blend of soy and vegetable wax. This is supposed to be a clean burning wax. It is vegan and cruelty free, and they are 100% cotton fiber wicks. So that is a little bit about the wax formulation. So far, I have really enjoyed this particular wax blend. I typically prefer 100% pure soy, but this particular formulation seems to be working out quite well. It definitely is initially a little bit of a softer wax, but you know, not as soft as like a coconut wax where you can just kind of like easily stick your finger straight down the middle of the wax. So this kind of softer formulation, I feel like helps with creating a pretty decently fast wax pool here. I don't think these take too terribly long to pool out. So whether you have the larger size like I have here or the smaller, it seems like because this is a softer type of wax that it definitely seems to have the ability to warm up quite quickly and start producing the fragrance not long after lighting it. So I kind of like that aspect for sure. You can see that there is a little bit of, you know, like residue that kind of gets left behind as you are burning the candle down. But the candle was all the way up to here, and it does eventually, like, things, you know, kind of slide down and join the rest of the wax pool, especially if you are going for a slightly extended burn session. The glass is nice and thick, so it retains the heat quite well. So speaking of packaging, the glass, like I said, has a nice thickness to it. It really helps to retain the heat. It's a solid candle. It does come with a white plastic lid. It's not the prettiest lid, and honestly, I do wish the packaging here was just a little bit more, I don't know, maybe sweet. It's such a delicious bakery scent that, like, I could think of a million labels that would just be stunning here, but also, I don't know, you know, it's a little bit different from what I normally have in terms of candle packaging. So it's kind of unique and different. It basically just says Crumb Couture, you know, around the entirety of the candle. So it mimics the packaging of the perfume, obviously, as you can see next to the candle there. So let's kind of dig into the fragrance here, and I will be comparing this for you to Kringle's Jelly Donut from the Reserve line, because we all know how much I love a jelly donut. And I do think this particular fragrance is in the same family. So their little story here reads that this is an ode to the scent of the golden pastry that's guaranteed to end up on your chest, lap, and floor. So they're referring to croissants here. Okay, so they say that this smells like croissant accord, wild berry jam, black currant, toasted vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. So what does it smell like to my nose? What do I detect? Do I think it has a very distinct croissant accord? I don't know that I would necessarily call it croissant. It is a very distinct, I would say, bakery note, but I guess it could maybe lean donut, it could lean croissant. It's a definite like gourmandiness, like a baked good type of note, but I don't know that I would necessarily say croissant. You know, like, I don't think this fragrance smells overly buttery, and, you know, the main focus with a croissant is, you know, building the layers of, you know, that flaky pastry with, you know, butter. So butter is definitely a big part of the making of a croissant. And I don't know that this smells really overly buttery to my nose. It's almost, like I said, maybe more so like a donut type note, but not overly fried, if that makes sense. I don't want to imply that this is like a greasy fried donut. Are donuts, they're not usually baked, are they? I feel like donuts are usually fried, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting the greasy note here. So I'm gonna call this maybe a little bit more of a generic bakery note. You know, it smells delicious, it's yummy, but I don't know that it's super distinct. So, however, where we do start getting quite distinct is when we get into the berry portion of this. There is 100% some black currant here, which I'm really thankful that it's not red currant because that's such a turnoff to me. I have some bad like scent memory associations with red currant. So the black currant smells a little bit deeper, a little bit richer, and maybe even a little bit sweeter than a red currant does to my nose. The wild berry jam. There is a definite like raspberry, blackberry type berry concoction here. I don't really think I smell blueberry per se, but it's definitely raspberry, it's definitely blackberry, and that combination together is delightful. Toasted vanilla, I mean, I think, yeah, there's definitely vanilla here. I don't know that I would call it toasted, but it's a really nice mellow vanilla. Tonka bean, yes, there is a little bit of tonka in here, and I feel like the tonka adds more of like that earthy type of vanilla almost in a way. It doesn't take away from the gourmand nature of this fragrance in any kind of way. It just, I think, in a way adds more depth to it, if that makes sense. And even that sandalwood, there is just the slightest, and I know it sounds weird because I'm talking about how this is such a delicious gourmand scent, but there's just this slight touch of perfuminess, and I feel like it's the sandalwood that is bringing that perfuminess. Again, it still smells completely edible though. This is one of those fragrances where I wish that everybody could experience it, but unfortunately it's one of those, you know, like this is not, it's not something you can pop into like an Ulta or a Sephora to sniff, right? Like I wish these were more readily available in stores for people to smell, because I guarantee you, if the vast majority of you stuck your nose into this, you'd freaking love it. Obviously, you know, you have to be in the, you know, gourmand loving frame of mind for this one. But I'm telling you, this is one of those fragrances where I think it's just a very universally liked scent. Now, some people may not want to smell like this on their person. You know, I think for a lot of people, maybe the perfume would be a little bit too much. But when it comes to home fragrance, if this candle was, you know, sitting at the checkout stand at, like I said, an Ulta or Sephora and people picked it up, I promise you they would sell so many. This is an amazing scent. Does it smell like jelly donut? It does share some definite similarities. Listen, I think the moral of the story is that if you really like jelly donut from Kringle Candle, but maybe you're exhausted waiting for them to repour it, you could certainly try the 8.5 ounce from the Snif Crumb Couture and maybe, you know, tide yourself over until we get another Kringle Reserve launch with the jelly donut. But who knows, maybe you even fall in love with this one to the point where you're willing to, you know, splurge on the 50 ounce after you try the 8.5 ounce. Overall, the fragrance for me is, it's amazing. It's very similar to the Reserve. They're not like, you know, twins of each other. There are some slight differences. You know, I think with the Kringle Reserve, it's much more of a straight up raspberry filling to my nose. And I think with the Kringle Reserve, it is a little bit more of a distinct donut note that's there. But in terms of them both being delicious, like authentic gourmands, yes, hands down. If you like that jelly donut, you're gonna like this one, and vice versa. So strength and throw. So obviously I'm going at this with the 4 ounce version. Strength for me, you guys, is like a 9.5 out of 10. This is a powerhouse strength-wise. It is very potent. You are going to really want to like this fragrance because you're gonna know that it's lit. I think it's guest friendly, but I don't know. It might be too much for certain people. especially in the 4-wick format. Throw this like easily, I mean, it fills the entire downstairs. And when something fills the dining room, the family room, the entryway, the kitchen, if it goes all the way back to the laundry room, I consider that a 10 out of 10 in terms of strength and throw. Our downstairs is quite open concept, and this travels very easily. There's even into the rooms that are not as open concept, like the dining room. I smell this in there full force. Like, this is one of those fragrances in this 4-wick format that you are going to get a house-filling experience from. So, and along with that, this is a very slow burning candle, you guys. The wicks stay very small. You don't really need to trim them. I basically just kind of straighten them up because they do a slight curl as they are, you know, burning. And so when I go to relight, I just straighten those wicks back up with my thumb and my forefinger, and then, you know, I light them up. There's no real trimming required. There's no massive mushroom tops. This has not gotten smoky or sooty on me. The wax has not discolored. It's an easy candle to light up and to just let it go for hours. Now, on average, I will say I've had this lit for about 5 hours at a time, but one day it did go as long as 8 hours. And I have done so many burn sessions with this one, and I still feel like I've barely made a dent in it. You better really like this fragrance if you're buying it in this 50-ounce size, because it's gonna take you a long time to get through it. I feel like that's important to think about when you purchase any size in like a Luxe or like Hearth type size. You really want to make sure you like the fragrance, because you're stuck with it. This is a long burning candle, and luckily it has a really clean burn to it. Only being about, I mean, I would say like a third, probably barely a third of the way in. I'm already replanning a repurchase here because I just love this so much. I think it's worth the splurge for me personally, because I know that, one, I love the scent, and two, it's gonna last me forever. And so, yeah, I feel very confident at this point purchasing this one again, just in the large size. There are a couple of fall and holiday scents that I want to try out from Snif this year, so you're going to be seeing more reviews from Snif coming up for sure. But anyway, I wanted to get my review out of this one because I think this is a really special fragrance. I also think this is one that could easily transition from spring, summer, even into fall. I think this would actually be lovely alongside some softer, maybe like pumpkin type fragrances. I could even see myself lighting this one up around the holidays as well. I love it. I love this scent. It's really great. So 2 thumbs up for me. Let me know if you picked up the Crumb Couture candle and what your thoughts and your experience are, and in the comments down below. And don't forget, if you want, you can totally pick up the perfume as well. I get a lot of compliments on that one. So yeah, just smell like a donut all day long. All right, I appreciate you being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and check out the description box for the links that I mentioned. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.